This video is for creating a 5th grade ad with the Washington Elementary yearbook site. So I'm starting off here on the washingtonpta.org website, and I'm going to scroll down to our ad right here. This is yearbook, and so I'm going to click here, and this takes me over to the Entourage yearbook page. Now, for most of you, let me log out real fast. You would have to hit register over here on the left, and you enter your name, email address, and password, and then you choose your preferences here. If you've been to Entourage before, you can hit log in. I've entered in my test email stuff, and I'm going to hit submit. Now, the next thing that I would do, especially for a first time, is I'm going to look here in the search bar, and I'm going to click, and now I'm going to type in Washington. And it pops up fairly quickly on the list. I've got Washington Elementary, Norman, Oklahoma, 2018. And so I'm going to select there. Now, over here to the right, I've got these kind of action buttons. I've got a buy a yearbook ad, upload photos, whichever one that you're doing at the time. Since we're doing a yearbook ad, I'm going to come up here and click on buy a yearbook ad. Now, if you've already started to make one, you can say go to my started ads and select the one that you want to work on. If we're starting from scratch, I'm going to choose one of these down here. We have two options. One is a half-page ad, one is a quarter-page ad. The construction is exactly the same for both of them. It just depends on what size that you're wanting to get for your student. So I'm going to go with purchase and design a half-page ad. So I click there and it brings me over here to our ad editor. And it should load up the insert template menu. And what these are pre-made templates that Entourage has for you to choose from. You can scroll down, look for the one you want, and just simply click it, and it will put the template on the page for you. If you start to look at it and go, no, I don't really want to do this one after all, you can come back over here to Insert Template and click there, and it'll take you back to the templates that you have to choose from. Let's say, oh no, I actually want to do this one. I would click it, and then down here it's going to ask you, well, do you want to put this on top of the old one, or do you want to replace the content? And we want to replace the content. So that's what I'm going to click, and it's going to redo the template for me. There. Now I have this to start with. So the different things you can do with your ad is change the type. So say this up here is where I want my student's name to go. So I would double click in here, and I'm just going to click and drag to highlight all that text. I'm going to hit delete. Now I get to start fresh, and I'm going to type in Sample McTesty. Whoop. I know, I come up with such original names for my children. All right, so if I'm looking at that and think, I want to change this a little bit for sample. So what I can do is I can highlight it, and up here are my text editing tools. This first one is how I change the font or the style of type. So if I click here, these are the fonts that Entourage has for us to use. Let's say, oh, I want to see what Treasure Map looks like. So I simply click on it, and there's the name in that font. If I don't like it, I can go back up here and say, no, I want to see what Grasshopper looks like. So yeah, that kind of works for sample. That sounds like him. And I can leave it there. Some you can bold or italicize. You can also underline. To do any of those, you just click the button and it puts it down there. You click it again to turn it off. This right here is your font size. You can make your fonts bigger or smaller depending on what you're going for. This right here can change the font color, and these are the colors that we have to choose from. Simply select the one you want and watch your type disappear because you choose the same color as the background. There we go. So there's what I've got Sample McTesty's name looking like so far. Now these other buttons over here are for alignment if I want it to be all the way left, in the middle, on the right. that one's justified. I can show you what that looks like down there. So let's put that back in the middle and maybe make it a little bit easier to see. Whoops, that one's too big. So see, if you get the yellow triangle, it means, ugh, my text is too far off. You can try taking the font size down, or you can try adjusting the frame. Now these little squares here, if you put your cursor over there, you get the double-ended arrow, and click and drag here. This is for making it taller, or on this side, you make it wider. The circles, you can do both at the same time. The other tools we have this little circle out here. This is for tilting it. Just click and drag like that. And then our hand, when you put your cursor over the hand, it turns into a hand. If you click and drag there, you can move the entire thing. So say I want Sample's name to be more right in there. And you let go, and that's where it is. Same thing down here with this other text. You can change it up as much as you want, just like we did up there. Now, down here, these two picture frames we can have a little bit more fun with. So if you select that, it brings up the frame settings over here. So border width is how thick this band is that you're wanting to put on there. We can make it really thick, or we can make it a little bit thinner. It's up to you. You can also change the border color, like say, oh, maybe I don't want it to be green. What if I want it to be pink? That works for me. All right. You can do that. If it's just a plain old box, you can change the fill color. This one's not going to show up because it's a photo frame, but you still have the option for, like, say, up here in the text frame. Oh, there we go. Padding is more for dealing with the text, so we can come back to that. To put a drop shadow, you simply click on there, and it added the drop shadow down here. Rounded corners, because if this is a square, it would round the corners like that. Or rotate right and left. Whoops. See, depending on how you wanted your graphic to look. And you could do that all the way around, even to the text frame. Now, here in the text, this is where the padding would come in. This is how much space you want to be between the edge of the frame and the text, and that's where you would put that. See, I remembered to come back to it. Okay, so up here, we've also got insert text. If you click that, it just gives you an empty frame. There, see there? And you can move it around just like you did the others. If you decide you don't want it, make sure that it's selected. You see your squares and circles, and just hit delete. We also have insert clip art and insert photos. Now these two things have been giving people troubles. If you hit insert clip art, Entourage has a huge selection of clip art to choose from. And the idea is simply to choose one and click on the page, and it worked this time. And it should show up with our same little squares and circles, and you could move it around, make it bigger, smaller, rotate it. I'm surprised because it hasn't been working for me until now, so I'm very happy that it did. And just remember, anything that's off the edge of the ad here will not show up. So if I move this piece of clip art right up here, then all this hanging off into the gray will not show up. Now, the idea for the photos is very similar. You click where you want a photo to go. You go over here to Insert Photo. And this is what we've been getting. Normally it should have photos here from Washington, or if you upload things as a PDF, you would do that too. Or you can come over here to Upload and try to find something to upload. A lot of that's been depending on which browser you use. I don't know why it's being difficult, neither do the Entourage people, but keep trying, or you can wait and maybe upload the photos and then give me a shout and say, hey, will you put this on my ad for me? And I'll try my best to do it for you. Now, when you get your ad looking even close to how you want it, you're going to come up here and hit save. And it's going to save it for you. And then you can go to continue and review. You can give your ad a name. You can leave it as what you want. And see, it gives you a little preview, all cropped and everything. Or you can change the name. So like, oh no, this is samples half page. Whoops. Half test ad or something. However you want to change it. You can immediately go back and edit it, or you can immediately purchase it. That's kind of up to you. We have the I approve the design of this ad. If you do that, then you can go to purchase. And even if you're not finished with it yet and you want to go ahead and get it paid for, you can do that. I will never put something in the yearbook without getting it cleared by you first. And that's when you go and enter in your credit card information and stuff like that. So, thank you. If you have any questions, just let me know.